If you are feeling miserable about your personal and family finances, well, you're not alone. A top survey of U.S. consumer sentiment just registered some of the worst numbers in the survey's history.
That's a survey that's been going for over 60, 70 years. And right now we're at one of the lowest points through that entire post-war history of the United States. So the bigger headline is we are awfully close to being as miserable American consumers as they've been at any point in recorded American history.
Close to the most miserable in U.S. history. Now, to be clear, the history of the economic survey only goes back as far as World War II. However, consumer spending now accounts for 70% of all U.S. economic activity. And when consumers are feeling depressed or sad or miserable, spending drops and the economy sputters. At the moment, Americans' personal finances are taking a beating and the economy is dragging because of soaring energy and gas prices.
With the economic fallout from the war with Iran, it is spreading as restrictions on oil supply have pushed the average price of a gallon of gas past the $4 mark. That happened overnight.
First time we've seen prices over $4 a gallon on average nationally since August of 2022.
Now at levels not seen since the start of the war in Ukraine 4 years ago.
This is a record-breaking spike in the cost of gas. According to Gas Buddy, the national average is now above $4 a gallon for the first time in more than 3 years, marking the biggest monthly increase on record. Diesel is up $1.70 a gallon. That is also the biggest spike ever in 1 month.
The biggest spikes in 1 month ever.
Again, what's so remarkable about this, though, is the speed by which this happened. The war's been going on for about a month or so, but gas prices during that period of time have risen by over $1 per gallon now. Now, I want to point out that all of this has to do with the Strait of Hormuz. Looking forward, the question about whether or not gas prices will continue to rise from where they've already risen. Well, the question is whether or not more ships are going to be able to travel through the Strait of Hormuz, as you see on that live map.
Donald Trump says the U.S. is making progress towards a deal with Iran, and that if Iran doesn't agree to a deal soon, the U.S. will bomb Iranian infrastructure, including power plants and water treatment facilities. Iran's response? Headline: Iran responds to Trump ultimatum by bombing oil tanker. After Trump wrote on Truth Social, the United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime. Quote, hours later, Iran responded by reportedly striking a fully laden Kuwaiti oil tanker in a port near Dubai. According to Bloomberg, the strike damaged the hull and started a fire. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, Trump tells aides he's willing to end war without reopening Hormuz. Quote, President Trump told aides he's willing to end the U.S. military campaign against Iran, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains largely closed, administration officials said, likely extending Tehran's firm grip on the waterway and leaving a complex operation to reopen it for a later date.
Now that we're hearing that the president says he's willing to end this war, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, well, for a passageway where 20% of the world's oil goes through, that means prices could remain elevated, if not even go higher from here.
And how much higher, according to oil analysts?
Where we can go, look, physically we've already priced 170. So if this stays, we can easily go there. I've seen 200. We could go to these levels.
$200 for a barrel of oil if Iran is able to continue to control what does and does not go through the Strait of Hormuz. And keep in mind, the price per barrel of oil before the war began was $65. $65 to $170 or $200. At $170 per barrel, gasoline prices would average around $6 a gallon. And even in parts of the United States where gas prices are usually the lowest, costs are already soaring.
Prices jumped 20 cents a gallon here in Houston today. This is a part of the country that usually has cheaper fuel prices, and that increases the cost of delivering food and household items and air travel and the cost of living for everybody.
I mean, most Americans now have seen 2 paychecks impacted by the higher price of fuel. Only now moving forward do those budgets really get realigned.
So personal and family financial budgets are only just beginning to feel the squeeze. Even Trump cheerleading networks like Fox Business News are sounding the alarm, warning that entire sectors of the U.S. economy, including the housing market, are in trouble.
Energy prices are kryptonite for the housing market. And the housing market, the best way to describe the housing market has been a blood-stained hellscape because of what's happening with interest rates. Yes, I'm being a little overly dramatic. But what I would say is if you look at what we were hoping for rates to come down and for mortgages to be affordable.
But mortgages are going back up and now average above 6% as the financial markets reel from the energy shock on the economy. Donald Trump has been trying to find ways to increase global oil supply and bring energy prices back down, but the impact has been negligible and prices keep rising.
You know, the president tried a couple of gimmicks, pulling oil stuff out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, allowing Americans to buy oil from Russia and in fact from Iran. But most of those are just really small, which is much of the world's oil, roughly a fifth of it, is behind the other side of the Strait of Hormuz, and it's really hard to get stuff through. And so you've got less oil for a world that's just as hungry for it. The only way that you...
your gasoline. For you to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline, just remember, you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot have... A country, really, it's the number one state sponsor of terror in the world. We don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon. So remember that when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4. It's okay. I mean, it's, I'll never apologize. I did the right thing. For you to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline, just remember, you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot...
Shalom. Kahala Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Raha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity. This is Amathia from Great Millstone, Dallas. And what we just saw here going into, it was showing like the numbers that was going in March, going into now, as far as the continual drop in America, continuing drop in Babylon, the gas, you know, the oil, how things are going up. This is going to cause a lot of affliction, you know, and it's happening. You know, these affliction that we're seeing that's going on, this is causing things to crumble here in Babylon the Great. This is what prophecy was telling us about. You know, Babylon is not going to be healed. The things that we're seeing in today's world, it's not going to stop. Things are constantly going to get worse. And then you have your leaders that's telling you how everything is going great, but through like social media, through these phones, and where you can talk to your family that's in the military, you can see how things are actually, the reality of how everything is declining here in Babylon the Great. And it's beautiful how you see it. It is very, you know, it's like a trying and testing time for people in the world. But if you don't have Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, you don't have anything. You finna be up the, you know, say up shit's creek, as they say. You know? I'm gonna grab a scripture here, you know. This is Sirach 11 and 25. Oh, don't do me like that. Come on, don't do me like that. Sirach 11. All right, let's try this again. You know, sometimes Satan, he try to put some, oh, this ain't what I'm looking for. This is, there we go, Sirach 11. And let's go down to verse 25. It says, in the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. In the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. All right. So when you look at how America's been going, bro, people been living comfortable here. Look at, I remember in the 90s, early 2000s, how gas was, you know, nobody was worried about, God damn, gas is it's so much, it's so high. People weren't worried about gas like that. Gas was $1 and something a gallon. Man, that was all right. That was lovely. $1 and something a gallon. And now people are seeing how much gas just went up. The barrels of oil. And people and what people make today don't even compare to how the cost of living has went up. A small percentage of your pay has went up from like maybe around the early 2000s to now, compared to how much living has went up. I saw this guy on social media. He was talking about the price of a home an apartment that he lived in like 2014. He said that apartment was like $700 and something a month. And I think and close to $800, about $800 a month. Then he said the same apartment, 1 bedroom. No, yeah, it was a nice place. $1,400 a month. Houses that used to go for $180,000 are now $300,000, $400,000. That's why when you have now in my line of work, you have to see how people who are like maybe moving. They say, they may have a house in their departure area where they're finna move from. They wanted to sell their house because maybe their job or something is moving them to another place, like another location, another state. They will say, okay, well, I have to sell my home. But if I'm gonna buy a home in my destination, no, I'm not finna buy no damn home. The market's not good. So that's basically is taken away from the market. I'm not finna buy a home. So you have a lot of homes that want to be sold, but not a lot of people don't want to purchase. Usually you see a transition back in the day from one home being sold, and they'll transition to another state or country, and then they're gonna buy another home. Now you don't see that as much. All right. So affliction is anything no. Before that, let's go to prosperity. The day of prosperity. Prosperity is basically something that's constantly successful, a thriving. Like you've seen a thriving society here in Babylon. That society was thriving in the 90s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, but then all of a sudden you had the recession hit. You know what I'm saying? Then things started getting back better, but see, that's the thing. They kept throwing. They started getting better, but what? They were just basically putting bandages on these wounds that wasn't going to be healed. Financially secure. People used to be financially secure. Now you have people buying houses and now they're house poor. People that make 70 to 100,000 are now living check to check, where it used to be like you're financially secure when you would live like that. But now that's letting you know how we were just seeing how the oil and the prices and everything going out. They said this is one of the worst times you could be in here in America. But like I said, there is no in the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. Then it says, in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. When there's a day of affliction. So you have prosperity is continual thriving. Then you have affliction that's basically caused it to a continual persistent of suffering. You have physical and mental stress. You have so many people that are stressed out right now. That's why you see the Lord has set it up where these people will go on social media and complain and show how bad that they're doing, showing how bad that they can't survive. And some of these people be nurses, you know what I'm saying? Some people that have good jobs, and now the jobs are going away, and this oil and the gas, you understand? This is really the heartbeat of the world. That's why so much of a fight in the Strait of Hormuz, for the transportation, and also all these oil refineries getting blown up here and there. This is affecting, and you're gonna see that effect more here in America and in other parts of the world. But think about Babylon, who've been living in prosperity. People that had no worries, from year on year on in. Now it's going to see you're seeing these effects. Now I keep saying you're going to, but you are seeing these effects on transportation, agriculture, food production. Because with the oil and gas, it slows down agriculture with like tractors, fertilizers, even with air travel. All right. That's going to cut businesses, operations, unemployment is going to constantly increase. So this is going to be affliction. See, and that's what you say, like Babylon to live deliciously. And I'm going to go ahead and get that as well. But what they're saying, there's a saying, as it says, strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. And we're in that point where it's been Babylon, here in Babylon, which is aka America. This is modern day Babylon, Revelation 11. This is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. It's been created where it's been good times, and you've seen the creation of weak men. And now things are about to get hard, and these weak men are finna bug out. They're finna lose it because they got that feminine spirit upon them. Majority of people here in America don't know how to grow their own food. All right, they don't know how to go in and get their own water, which ain't really too many springs of water spouts that you can go to and get. That's why they set you up to have bottled water, set you up to go to these stores and buy all this food, and then take the seeds out, because Esau wants you to go to have you to want to come to him for all things. And that is orchestrated and set up, you know what I'm saying? That is set up by the elites, because they want to set you up where if you say you're going to come for all things, you got to come to me. And I'm going to be like the Most High, so I'm going to hit you up with the C-Hip, which is the RFID chip, microchip they want to put in you. And when people are going through these afflictions and suffering, this constant suffering, with this physical and mental stress, they'll give in to it. All right. Verse 26, it says, for it is as easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. All right. So according to your ways, so you're going to it's going to be like, how did you live? How did you thrive? All right. How did you, during the time that the Lord gave you time of prosperity? And how did you do during the time of affliction? During both, you're supposed to have the Lord with you. All right. Having the Lord name and praising him through all that you have done. When you leave the house, you're supposed to pray to the Lord. If you receive a little extra money, call halal Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. When you're going through hard times, call halal Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. I pray that you uplift some of these some of this hardship from me. But the water, Lord, for allowing me to even have the strength to make it through these things that I'm going through. Verse 27, it says, the affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and in his end his deed shall be discovered. So, like I said, as America with this their skirt being lifted, all right, because it's gonna show how people are gonna make it through these hard times. Because it's not going to get better here in Babylon. You can look at it. Look at how things are progressing worse. All right. Look at 2020, 2021. All right. Going to the demic. Where people was bugging out. And that's why a lot of them took the jab. Okay. Because they were like, man, I'm about to lose my job. I'm about, my kids got to eat. I got to do it for my family. And then now you're seeing what, now, look at Fauci. He's going on and telling you about, they going on and telling you about how all this shit was was BS. How all this lying, and he's playing the fifth on everything. You people out there should be furious because of that. Then all you seeing these people passing away. Look at all these sports players going to the spirit world at 30, in their 30s, late 20s, early 40s. No complication, all of a sudden they gone. Sudden death. Look at back when they was giving you all the jabs and stuff, how many people was on the field and passing out, going back to the spirit world. But y'all was mad at the people that didn't receive it. See, that's the same thing. That was a prelude to what's to come when the foods they're gonna be rationing out, when the water is gonna be rationing out. Didn't BG, all right, B Gates say that by 2027, due to the water crisis, is gonna be billions of people that's gonna perish? Yeah, think about that. See, and the thing is, if the Lord is preparing this mighty work, as He says in Psalms 119, it's time, O thee, O Lord, it's time, thee, O Lord, to do work. The Lord is doing work. He's allowing the left hand to get ready to come and spank these people in the world. And you gotta have, and He says that elect, the elect, to not bow the knee to the Baal, all right, to not give in to the madness that's gonna continue to grow. See, all this is the beginning of sorrows that the scriptures say. And there's no way out but through Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The Lord, Yahushua, see, the blood of Yahushua is a vital point. That's how we receive deliverance. That's how we get out this thing. Have faith, believe, and continue to do the work. And let your faith grow. Because the Lord told us, and we have faith that we're going to be going from glory to glory. Lord willing, we're a part of that number. All right? So we already forgot about the pleasure and the ways of this world, because we've been afflicted through seeing the madness and through the wickedness throughout the world already. So we've been going through affliction spiritually. Now I'm talking about the meek of the earth, the ones that signed the crime for the abomination thereof. This is madness we're seeing. All right, and you know what? I wanted to get that too. I'm gonna get that. That's why I was worried. This is prosperity. All right, I just Googled prosperity meaning. Prosperity means the state of being successful, thriving, financially secure. It often means having plenty of money and material possessions, but it can also mean having good health, happiness, and a strong sense of well-being. And you've seen that. People have had material things, but now it's harder to receive material things because you got to have money. And when things get so expensive, you can't get it. And now we're getting a shortage of things because a lot of things here are imported. And with the straits being closed and open, and then this war going on, you're going to see lack of material that's going to be coming through. And that's going to cause prices to rise. Plenty of money? Nope. Don't have plenty of money. I was just mentioning how things have went up dramatically with the cost of living. So people are living check for check. That, like I said, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s. People will have money that, you could be like, hey, I'm the only one working in the household. Now, shit. You got to have 2 jobs just to live a single life. So money is scarce. Good health. Hey, they done changed the food. Now the food don't have as much nutrients in it, and now it's really just what? You're what is it called? Like it's empty eating. You're eating so much and really retrieving so little of nutrients to something that will replenish energy in your body. Because of what? Esau replaced things with GMOs, so he want to be like the Most High. But this is some generic shit he's feeding you. It's benefiting you very little to no benefits to what you're eating. See, that's the prosperity. See, the thing is that these things are gone, and it's leading to what? Affliction. Affliction is a noun that means anything that causes persistent pain, physical or mental stress, or great suffering. As I mentioned earlier, all right, it said it can also describe the actual state of being sick, troubled, unhappy because of illness, loss, or bad luck. And we're seeing people that's you see on social media, especially these women. They're troubled, they're unhappy. And it's not going to stop. The wickedness can't stop, won't stop till the Lord come. You know what I'm saying? That 2 Thessalonians say the Lord is going to let things happen until this nigga be taken out the way. As I'm saying nigga, I'm talking about the elites and also overall the rulership of the Esau, the Edomites. What I read now, I want to get here because this is Revelations 18. And where's deliciously? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna start at verse 6. It says 18, Revelation 18:6. It says, "Reward her as she rewarded you." And who is she? All right. Let me go over here. Who is she? This is Revelation 17:3. It says, "So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names, blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns." All right. And it says, "And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots and abominations on the earth." So this is the mystery, okay? And you have Christians that say, well, the Lord haven't revealed these things to us yet. But he said he revealed the secrets to the saints. Okay? Come on, Amos 3 goes into that. So that's just the background of who we're talking about. Okay? So this is the talking about mystery daughter of Babylon, who's riding upon that beast. This is Babylon the Great, aka America. Okay? The virgin daughter of Babylon. He got many names. Virgin daughter of Babylon, mystery daughter of Babylon, America, USA. All this is the same, but it's actually different names, but it's going to the same woman, the same thing. And it tells you that this woman is a city, and people are like, well, America is not a city, but it's going to the citizens, Don't you call yourself citizens? That goes into what? Having being a member of that city. So just go back here to Revelation 18:6. It says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she has filled to her double." So all this abomination, filthiness, and all that, she's going to receive that recompense. We came over here, and I'm talking about you Israelites, to receive punishment, to go through our captivity for our going off. But now Esau, in this place which run and rules by Esau Edom, has done so much, and like you said, that recompense going to come on to her. They're going to see double, and the Lord is going to bring their vengeance. Okay? It says how much she has glorified herself and live deliciously. And Trump is an epitome of what America's mindset is. That proud, what did it say? The proud, the Marine. How he always talking about, yeah, we're the greatest country and we You know, and he's still pompous and proud. But everybody's starting to see it. So America is becoming a joke. It's the bully of the bully out there, but they're becoming more of a joke. Don't get me wrong. Now they still got something that they can fuck you up with, but overall they like, you know, enough of us come together, we probably can take this nigga. All right. So it says, how much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she has in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. But these sorrows is happening. Okay? You've been living deliciously. All right? We have seen the prosperity of America, but now at its 250th year, we're really seeing the persistent pain and suffering of their people. So this affliction is going to continue to grow. That Babylon is going to be no more. And like I said, with these oil and gas prices and these things like that, the people are going to feel this. Like it says in the scripture, this is the beginning of sorrows. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Wachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yakim, pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.